Hi there everybody, it's Verity here from inkybutterfly.com. Thank you so much for joining me today for this video, which supports our Project Share Project blog hop that we do on the first Saturday of every month. So myself, Heather, Jill and Jez participate in that Project Share, which we do every Thursday over on our blogs, and then once a month we do like a blog hop as well. So our theme this time around is our favourite techniques, and hands down I just think embossing, heat embossing in particular, is a fantastic sort of card making element that we can add, which adds just, I don't know, just a wow to our cards. Okay, so that's what I'm going to be sharing. So if you click along into the video description, so if you click more and more, there'll be a link to my blog, which will then take you through to everybody else's projects as well. And I'm sure they will be having, they will be doing YouTubes at some point on their projects too. Everyone in that group produces videos as well. Okay, right, so the products I'm using today feature some this pretty medallion background stamp, which has been in my cupboard screaming to be used for ages and ages, and I was desperate to get this out, so I'm using Pretty Medallion to create this background. Okay, I've been desperate to use it. Okay, and then I have not yet used this online exclusive stamp set called Irresistible Blooms. It is there is a bundle, so it has some matching Irresistible Blooms dies. So today we're keeping it simple and just using the flowers and leaves, but there's some really cute decorative elements in there as well. So that's going to be really cool to play with. So that's what we're doing with that, but we're going to mix up some colours. Alright, so this this card, by the way, was inspired by an artisan, Stampin Up artisan team member, and the name has escaped me, but I'll drop that into the blog post. Using completely different colours, but nonetheless it was that's using Pretty Medallion. I've been wanting to use that kind of thing, so that's how I came about with this. So we're going to mix around the layout a little bit and mix up the colours. So this is a shaded spruce cardstock background, and I've used shaded spruce soft sea foam and Daft Delight to blend out the background to make it almost look like a foliage, and then same shaded spruce sort of faded out onto the leaves. And then I've got pumpkin pie coming through on here, just layering it up a bit thicker in the centre, okay, to get that intensity of that colour and blending it out, okay. And then this is all clear heat embossing, rubbing over the top, okay. So that's the main feature of our card today. So to reproduce this, I'm actually going to be using retiring colours. All of them I'm going to use today are retiring. Okay, so we do now know that we are having a colour refresh, and which ones will be leaving. Okay, so some of them you might think, oh okay, no bother. So first of all, Pacific Point. So that's going to be our card base today. So Pacific Point will be leaving. So that's going to be my card base. So we're going to stamp our background onto this one, and we're going to be blending that out with these three colours. So Pacific Point, Bermuda Bay and Mint Macaron are leaving. So I am sad to see those two colours go. Okay, but that's what we're going to be using for our background. And then the florals are going to be Rich Raspberry, which again really like that colour, and Blushing Bride, which I'm less sad to see go, to be fair. It was a bit of a dirty pink. it is a dirty pink, hasn't gone quite just yet. So all 5 of these colours plus some more are retiring. Okay, so if you like them, you don't have them, or you need them, get them. Okay, so Stamparatus is our friend when we're doing background stamps. So because they're quite large, they're on the red rubber cling, so I'm not using the foam mat that's inside that comes with it. Oh, magnets stick to dies. Let's just pop that over there for a second. So for the the sample card, the medallion image was very much coming in from the left. Okay, so I think I would rather have this coming in from the bottom right. So I'm going to plonk it about there. And do you know what? I'm not even that fussed if it's not like perpendicular or anything like that. I'm just going to pop it into that sort of lower right corner, and it turns out how it turns out. Is it straight on the rubber? Yeah, looks like it is. So if I line up that rubber with one of those lines over there, it might stand a chance of being something like straight. So let's pop that there. Okay, like I say, I'm not super fussed. So we'll just press that down like so. Okay, and because we're embossing, we're going to use our Versamark clear sticky ink. Okay, so this is a slow drying ink. I've got all my other blocks over here, so just move that over the way. Hopefully, oh yeah, you can still see that. So that comes as a one big sheet. Some people like to cut away the excess rubber and stuff. I don't. But what we are going to have to do is give this a good old ink up, okay, and it's worth spending the time doing it. So lots and lots and lots of light tapping, okay, and in fact I would say that you're probably better off just doing one layer and then another, which again is the other beauty of using this repositional tool. So I'm going to pop that over, and that's all kept in place. I'm just going to use a doodad. This is a completely homemade doodad. I found this little green thing, which is the handle of some weird stampy jig thing that I had years and years and years ago. And I've put a furniture slider on it that I was using just on its own, which helps just apply some pressure to that. Now the image does look good. You won't be able to see a thing, probably. No, it won't catch the light at all, but I can see it. It just catches the light because obviously the ink is wet. Okay, and just for good measure, I'm just going to go around that just again a couple of times. Ooh, it's very bouncy. Hope I'm not shaking the camera. Just trying to do it quickly, just so that we're not spending too long on this video, because obviously there are steps to this, right, and sort of for a video it's probably not the most exciting thing. So when we get onto the other bits where we're doing quite a bit of the heating and stuff, I'll either cut it or whiz it up so that you're just not watching boring stuff. So that's had a really good press now, okay, and we can take that off. It is a slow drying ink, which means we've got time to breathe before adding our just pop that in this drawer because that's where all my blocks are, and grab the Embossing Editions kit. So can you see that? No. I was hoping you might be able to see the wet ink, but you can't. Okay, so we're going to use our little tray here and some clear embossing powder. Okay, now I have mine in a larger jar. This is several tubs. The tubs are only this big. Okay, so this is use several tubs of clear embossing powder, because then you can just bung a whole load on and it will last you forever. Okay, it's a really good staple to have in your. You can also use it to sort of help with heat setting. So if you've got like a water-based ink and you want to do watercolour techniques in sort of a similar way, really, to this, but in a more controlled fashion, you can use clear heating embossing powder over the top of your line art. That would work with classic ink and Memento and any sort of water-based ink, as long as you're quick. And it would protect that line art from smudging with the water as well. So that's another way you can use clear embossing powder. So that's on there. So I'm just going to tip away that excess. So that's this tray is really great for that. So we can just tip that away. Obviously we are going to be using it again because there's a lot more heat embossing to be done. So I'm going to put that somewhere where I'm not going to. You know what? Let's put the lid on. Let's not risk it. It's going to go flying somewhere. I've only got so much space to work in. So now that we've got that powder on there, we can heat that up. So I will have to mute the this because this is really super loud. But right, so you can see the paper now, and it's not shining in any way, shape or form. We're going to apply heat. It's going to melt that powder into almost like a plastic kind of coating to pick out that line. Okay, so we'll get that warmed up. You'll see me hit on the back and on the front just to try and keep the paper as flat as possible. Okay, and you get a better sheen, I think, if you heat from back. So if you see me doing that, that's what I'm doing. Okay, off we go. Right, so you will have to sort of shine it in the light and just make sure that you've caught all your powder. Okay, so if you can see it's all glossy, you've done the business. Okay, all right. I just realised I'm going to be using that way, aren't I? The temptation is going to be to keep it that way, but let's spinning it up. Okay, rightio. Okay, there are a few little darker flecks in there, and that's just going to be a little dander that's ended up in the powder and stuff. I've had it a long time, but I'm not super fussy about that. Okay, right. Need my I'm going to use grid paper to help me with the blending. Now you can see I've been trying stuff out and all that kind of stuff on here. Okay, so let's get a clean sheet of that. And like I say, we're going to be using Mint Mac, Bermuda Bay and Pacific Point. So we're going to start with the lighter colour and work our way into the centre to intensify it and blend in those colours. Okay, and bring in our blending brushes. So these are the larger blending brushes. And like I say, I'm going to work in from the edge. Okay, probably needed to be a bit softer than that, but equally I don't want to be sort of keeping you too long on this video. And actually, you know, sort of brush marks around the edge, I'm just going to go with it. I want this to be just nice and organic. Okay. And I know I've got this upside down. It's just easier for me to blend it this way around as I am left-handed. Okay. So I'm sort of trying to keep to the sort of the outer edge of that pattern and sort of beyond, just to bring out that edge. Then we'll bring in some Bermuda Bay, one of my favourites. There are some nice colours coming back. I'm not going to tell you about those now though. So we've got returning colours and a brand new colours to replace those. So there's 11 in total that are being replaced. Right, so don't those two colours blend really, really well together? Who'd have thought it, right? And I'm pretty sure that if they hadn't have been stuck on this list of retiring things, I would never have even thought to have put them together. But hey ho. And then you watch what happens now with the Pacific Point, because I have tried it out and just to see whether they would work when they do. So this is Pacific Point now, which again we're going to sort of focus into that centre and sort of blend out into the Bermuda. Right, and if you feel like you need to go back and add more of any particular colour because you've sort of over blended it and lost it, you can. So we can put a bit more of that in. And actually the heavy-handed colour actually hasn't worked out. It's worked out too perfectly, really. And again, you could intensify your mint mac if you want, but I think I might just leave it at that actually. Again, just so that we're not here for a long time, because you could quite easily play with this for ages. So then you want to just have a damp, like barely damp, like paper towel or something, and just rub away the excess ink that's sitting on top of that melted powder. Okay, it is a resist, it's going to sit on top, it's not absorbing into the cardstock. Okay, okay, you could do a spritzy technique and lift some of the colour if you wanted to. Okay, but that's what we have. Who knew? Right, so that's our background done. So we can pop that to one side and we can do some stamping of our flowers and our leaves. Okay, so just got some scraps here. We've got 2 leaf images and our Versatile ink. Okay, and we can get those stamped out. So I did 2 of the larger ones. Just want to tip it into the light so that you can see where you're stamping. And we did 3 smaller ones. Drizzle that round a bit so I can get that on. Okay, and then we're going to heat set that one as well. We'll get the powder on at least anyway, so let's get the powder on that so that it's covered before it dries out. Bit of a tap just to get rid of any excess, but we're die cutting them out anyway, so that's not going to be too much of a bother. So we'll pop that there. And then we want to stamp a flower, one in each of the 2 sizes, and do exactly the same. pressure on there, just so you get a good image. And again, we're going to ink blend over the top, and we're going to die cut them, so don't need to worry about sort of stray bits of powder or anything like that. I'm just going to pop those stamps on my chamois so that ink doesn't dry on top of them. Okay, let's add that powder to those, and we're going to heat set these all again. Alright, so we'll just quickly pop that away, do it properly when we're finished filming. Okay, and again we can heat set these, so again we'll just mute that video and get those done. Okay, so there we go, nice shiny. So I don't know whether you can see there's that sort of speckly, and then that's sort of smooth, right? Heating from the top, heating from the bottom. Okay, that is the difference it makes. I've got a little bit of powder on there, so I'm just going to mop that away. Bring back in our paper, and I'm going to use a bit of the Mint Mac to just pop some colour onto these leaves. Okay, and again, I'm not going for perfection, just want to add the colour. Okay, I don't mind if the tips are a little bit paler. I want them to sort of contrast the background a little bit. Okay, that's those. And then for the blooms, we're going to go with the Rich Raz and the Blushing Bride. So pop on the Blushing Bride in from the edge first, and I'm going to use the mini brushes to do that. When you've got a brand new brush, it's see how it's sort of blotchy a little bit. It's almost like you've got to prime them, I suppose is the term we'd use. So load that brush up and get it sort of working for you. Okay, and I'm just going to go around the edge of that image. Round and round, and you see that that white just sort of starts to come out, and then we'll just pop some depth in with the Rich Razzleberry. Okay, so again, it's a new brush, so we're just going to give that a really good ink up. Yep. And pop that in. Really, really deep purpley colour. Okay, and we can then bring that Blushing Bride back in and really blend that out. So it looks a little horrendous because the purple ink sits on top of the embossing a bit more prominently, so it looks a little heavy when you first do it, but when we wipe away that excess ink, just like we did on another one, so we use a different bit of the paper towel because I don't want to carry over any of the blues from and greens. So that's all popped beautifully, and once that was all die cut, that's going to look really, really, really nice. Okay, just use a quick wipe, won't be as much on there. So now we need to get all these die cut, which I'll do off camera and come back to you when I've done that. Rightio then, so we've got all the elements die cut now. Don't those flowers look cute? It's all going to be beautiful. Okay, so we can start constructing our card now. So we can pop this onto our card base. Going to put a bit more adhesive on than I would do normally because the heat does warp the cardstock a little bit, just perfectly normal that happens. So, you know, water. There's water in the cardstock that evaporates out when you heat emboss it. The other thing I've done is stamped the hello from the Irresistible Blooms stamp set, and I've heat embossed that on black with white embossing powder, okay, to get that look there. Alright, so this is going to sit somewhere down here. I'm going to build up our image, so I still want to be able to see all that lovely blending. Okay, so I think we're going to end up with something like that. So let's just pop our sentiment in around there. Okay, I'm going to grab some dimensionals for the blooms themselves. My rogue dimensionals seem to have had a this particular packet seems to have had a little manufacturing faux pas, but it's fine. They come off. It's just they're not coming off as easily as they usually do. Back into fine though. Guys, whiz them straight off. They're really, really good. Okay, so there and there, and then we can just build in our foliage where we want those to go. So we've got sort of the two bigger leaves, and we've got three smaller ones. So wet glue is what I use for this kind of thing, because it means I can just tuck them in and sit them where I want. We can still hold that shape. So those sort of frame that for us. I just like to use a pokey tool just to get under there and press those down. And then we're just going to fill in a little bit with these smaller ones. So I think something around the sentiment, something between the two at the top, just to sort of connect them a little bit. Maybe another one there, again, just to sort of frame that sentiment a little. Ooh. Fingers and thumbs. Okay. The glue obviously just stays wet a little bit so that you can manipulate that. Doesn't that look? Oh, put that lid on there. Did you see that then? Oh my gosh. Right, and all we need is a bit of bling on there, and going to pull in the black from the sentiment by using these matte black dots. So we'll pop those in, and my formula is generally you know, a odd number, so one of the larger ones, and then we're going to pop a trio of them across the top there, just to sort of all cascade together and fill that white space a teensy bit. That's turned out beautifully. Absolutely love that. Absolutely love that. I'm not generally a fan of oranges and stuff, but you know, sometimes you have to stretch your comfort zone and use colours, different colours and stuff. But so I hope that you have enjoyed that. I think it's really, really cute. Love how those colours have come together, and like I say, I probably wouldn't have even thought of bringing them in together if they hadn't have been on that retiring list. So just to recap, we've got Bermuda Bay, Pacific Point, Mint Macaron, Rich Raspberry and Blushing Bright, which I've used on there. If you want to know what the other ones are, these are they: Merry Merlot, Mango Melody, So Saffron, not so attached to that. Pear Pizzazz I love, really love that green. I'd have preferred to have lost Garden Green and kept Pear Pizzazz personally. Sahara Sand and Soft Suede, they are all retiring. So 11 colours in total are retiring, but oops, knocked a memento off the shelf. But we have some wonderful new ones coming in to replace them. Okay, lovely. Thanks ever so much for joining me. Longer video, but I think it was worth it. I hope it was worth it. Please click more, go to my blog and look at everybody else's projects, all around our favourite techniques. Okay, thanks ever so much, everybody. Stay safe, take care. See you soon. Bye.